Good morning, children. Then let's start the lesson, same lesson, the enemy. So in the last class we have seen that how their servants have threatened them not to stay in their house anymore if they would allow the enemy to live in their house. Then we have also seen the views of all the three about Sadao. The gardener told their master knows what to do, still he has allowed the enemy to stay there. The cook told their master was so proud of his skill that he doesn't hesitate to save the life of enemy also. And Yumi told that she was greatly concerned about the children. The children would be called the children of the traitor. Now let's see what happens. They did not try to hide what they said from the ears of Hannah as she stood arranging the day's flowers in the veranda nearby. And she knew they spoke on purpose that she might hear that they were right. She knew too in most of her being, but there was another part of her which she herself could not understand. It was not sentimental liking of the prisoner. She had come to think of him as a prisoner. She had not liked him even yesterday when he had said in his impulsive way, "Anyway, let me tell you that my name is Tom." She had only vowed her little distant vow. She saw hurt in his eyes, but she did not wish to assuage it. Indeed, he was a great trouble in this house. When the servants were talking, they were talking loudly. Although Hannah was nearby, she was arranging the flowers in veranda. But intentionally, they were talking loudly so that Hannah could hear. And Hannah really heard. And Hannah also knew their intention, why they were talking so loudly. And Hannah knew that they were right. Hannah herself didn't like that the enemy should be sheltered. But there was one part in Hannah which was supporting the enemy, which was supporting Sada, which was helping Sada. There was one part in Hannah. Hannah was actually divided into two parts. One part of Hannah was against Sada. She didn't like that the enemy should live in their house. But there was another part, and she herself did not know that why it was so, that she was doing everything for the safety of enemy. She was helping Sada. And it was not that she was emotionally attached, that she had pity for him. Because even yesterday, when he had told his name, that his name was Tom, she didn't like it. She had saw the sign of trouble in his face, but she did not try to assuage. Children, assuage, A-S-S-U-A-G. Assuage means calm down, console. She had saw the sign of trouble, pain on his face, but she did not try to assuage. It means she was not emotionally attached with him. She had no sentiments for him. Still, she was doing everything for his safety. She was helping her husband to make him alive, to cure him. So why it was so, Hannah herself did not understand. As for Sada, every day he examined the wound carefully. The last stitches had been pulled out this morning, and the young man would, in a fortnight, be nearly as well as ever. Sada went back to his office and carefully typed a letter to the chief of police reporting the whole matter. On the 21st day of February, an escaped prisoner was washed up on the shore in front of my house. So far he typed, and then he opened a secret drawer of his desk and put the unfinished report into it. And so far as Sada was concerned, every day he came to the prisoner to check him, to probe his wound. That day, the last stitch was also pulled out, and in about fortnight, the enemy was going to be totally recovered. One day, Sada, after some days, Sada went back to his office and he typed a letter on the name of police officer to the chief of the police. He typed a letter to the chief of the police narrating everything, whatever had happened. He had typed that the prisoner one day was washed away on the shore nearby his house. But after typing this line, he left the letter incomplete and put it secretly in his door. Means he couldn't complete the letter. On the 7th day after that, two things happened. In the morning, the servants left together, their belongings tied in large square cotton kerchiefs. When Hannah got up in the morning, nothing was done, the house not cleaned, and the food not prepared. And she knew what it meant. She was dismayed and even terrified, but her pride as a mistress would not allow her to show it. Instead, she inclined her head gracefully when they appeared before her in the kitchen, and she paid them off and thanked them for all that they had done for her. They were crying, but she did not cry. The cook and the gardener had served Sada since he was a little boy in his father's house, and Yumi cried because of the children. She was so grieving that after she had gone, she ran back to Hannah. On the 7th day after the operation, two incidents occurred in their house. Two important things happened in their house. First, that all the servants with their belongings left the house. In the morning, when Hannah went to the kitchen, she found that nothing was clean, food was not prepared, house was not clean, and then Hannah understood everything. Hannah was very sad for their behavior, but she didn't show her emotion. The superiority of her superiority of being the mistress of that house didn't allow her to show any kind of emotion. Neither she was angry, nor she was showing her sorrow. Rather, when they came to bid goodbye, then Hannah with willingness, thanked them for their service and paid them. Although the three were emotional, they were crying, but Hannah didn't cry. When they had gone, then after some time, Yumi came back running, and she told Hannah that if the children would miss her, if the children would cry for her, then Hannah would call her. She told Hannah that she was going to her house, and Hannah knew where her house was. Thank you, Hannah said, smiling, but she told herself she would not send for Yumi. However, the baby cried. Hannah thanked her, but Hannah decided. Hannah thought to herself that how much the baby would cry, but she was not going to call her. It was her superiority, it was her pride. Her pride was telling this. Because the way they had disobeyed, the time when they needed more, they had left. That's why she was angry and sad both. She made the breakfast and Sadao helped with the children. Neither of them spoke of the servants beyond the fact that they were gone. But after Hannah had taken morning food to the prisoner, she came back to Sadao. Why is it we cannot see clearly what we ought to? She asked him. Even the servants see more clearly than we do. Why are we different from other Japanese? She made the breakfast. She did other household work, and in between, Sadao looked after the children. But the both didn't talk about the servants, except only that the servants had gone away. But when Hannah came back, after serving the food to the prisoner, Hannah told Sadao that why they are not trying to understand the thing, the situation, which the servants had already understood. But Sadao didn't reply. Sadao kept mum. Sadao did not answer, but a little later he went into the room where the prisoner was and said brusquely, "Today you may get up on your feet. I want you to stay up only 5 minutes at a time. Tomorrow you may try it twice as long. It would be well that you get back your strength as quickly as possible." Sadao didn't tell Hannah anything. Rather, he went to the prisoner's room and he told the prisoner briskly. Briskly means bluntly, sharply, in his loud tone, that you please stand up. And then he told that today you will keep standing for 5 minutes and tomorrow we will do it twice. Means tomorrow for 10 minutes. And this way slowly and gradually you will be recovered very soon. He saw the flicker of terror on the young face that was still very pale. "Okay," the boy murmured. Evidently he was determined to say more. "I feel I ought to thank you, doctor, for having saved my life." "Don't thank me too early," Sadao said coldly. He saw the flicker of terror again in the boy's eyes. Terror as unmistakable as an animal's. The scars on his neck were crimson for a moment. Those scars, what were they? Sadao did not ask. When he was telling this, when he was talking to the prisoner, when he told the prisoner that very soon you will be fully recovered, then Sadao saw a sign of terror. Sadao saw a sign of terror on the prisoner's face. The prisoner told, "Okay." And it seemed as if he wanted to tell something more. And the prisoner told him also. He told that thank you for saving my life. He thanked Sada for saving his life. But Sada told, "Don't sent me so early. Then again, a sign of terror, fear could be seen on the enemy's forehead, on the enemy's face. The scars, the marks of wound on his neck, suddenly had turned very red. But Sada didn't take any notice of this, didn't pay any attention to his scars. He didn't try to console him and do anything. In the afternoon, the second thing happened. Hannah, working hard on unaccustomed labor, saw a messenger come to the door in official uniform. Her hands went weak and she could not draw her breath. The servants must have told already. She ran to Sada, gasping, unable to utter a word. But by then the messenger had simply followed her through the garden and there he stood. She pointed at him helplessly. I told you earlier that day two important things had happened. Two incidents had happened. First what? That all the servants had left their house. And second, when Hannah, after her work was not after her work, when she was working hard. Why was she working hard? Because she was not accustomed. She was not in habit of working. So when she was working hard, then she saw a messenger who was in uniform. And Hannah was afraid to see him. Hannah thought perhaps the messenger was sent from the police to arrest her husband. So she came running to Sada. But as she had come running, she was afraid. So as she was fainting, she couldn't tell anything to Sada. By that time, the messenger also came to Sada following